Once again, it's on. It's yours truly, Lorenzo Ice-T Thomas. This is Jeff Fox, and we are the Sports Brothers coming to you from Hard Rock Stadium, where it is final. The Miami Dolphins lose to the Detroit Lions 32-21, and it's a game where basically the Dolphins couldn't stop Detroit for nothing.
Not in the world, Lorenzo. I mean, basically they had one stop the entire game, but the Lions had their way. They ran the ball so well, the Dolphins could not do anything to stop the running game.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, you had the Lions on their first possession, they scored a touchdown. After that, they got stopped. That was the only time for the day. The following possessions, Lorenzo, field goal, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, field goal, and then they knelt down.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that kind of day. Some guy named Kerryon Johnson.
Hey, don't say carry on. I know about carry on.
I did not.
In my pregame, I knew basically that Kerryon Johnson was going to basically be the key to any type of success that the Dolphins were going to have, because over the past three weeks, the Dolphins have given up big yardage to Sony Michel, Joe Mixon, of course, Tariq Cohen, and Kerryon Johnson. Again, this week, torched the Miami Dolphins, where he had about 150 yards rushing.
157 yards and 20 carries. The Lions, as a team, rushed for 249 yards. They simply dominated the Dolphins, and it made it an easy game for quarterback Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
When you're looking at third down and 4, third down and 3, third and 5, it's easy pickings, and that's why the Lions controlled the game from start to finish. The Dolphins were really never in it, Lorenzo.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a couple of big plays. Then they lose Albert Wilson. And, of course, Kenny Stills got injured on the touchdown where he incidentally ran into the security guard, and we hope she's okay.
Yeah.
But simply was not to be for the Miami Dolphins today. Too much Detroit Lions on the ground, and they simply control the line of scrimmage. And you don't do that, man. You don't stop the opposing team. You don't give your team an offensive shot to win the game.
Without a doubt. And I think that the Miami Dolphins came out a little flat today. The Detroit Lions started the game like a team that had just come off the bye, and the Dolphins played like a team that had just played a hard-fought overtime game the week prior. And that's exactly what happened today if you look at it.
Yeah, and then Brocktober continued. I mean, Brock Osweiler, otherwise, he was today 22 of 31, 239 yards, and a couple of touchdown passes. Usually, Lorenzo, when you have a stat line like that, you win the game.
Yeah.
But he did whatever he could. It simply was not enough. Again,
and the problem was that the Dolphins didn't establish the run. Detroit was ranked in the bottom half of the NFL as far as defending the run was concerned, and they couldn't get the run going with Frank Gore today or Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, except, Drake had a pretty decent day. Only 6 carries, ran for over 70 yards. Of course, the big 54-yard touchdown run, which was a thing of beauty. But, again, simply not enough consistency from the Miami Dolphins offense. Whenever they needed a big play, they could not get it. And on the defensive side of the ball, which completely told the story today, you got to be able to stop the opponent.
Right.
You cannot give up almost 300 yards rushing and expect to win. The Lions ran for 249 yards.
And the problem is, basically, New England, Cincinnati, and all of these teams have kind of laid out the blueprint. And I was talking to Sam Madison, former cornerback of the Miami Dolphins, and when their defense was great, what offenses did was they just basically pinpointed the linebackers and the safeties. And today, basically, all they did was attack the linebackers with the running backs and the tight ends, and that's what you're going to see on Thursday night when they go up against the Houston Texans. So that's going to be a tough game because it's a short week. Played a hard-fought game last week. This game, probably the time of possession was out of control. Yeah. Detroit was on the field for a long period of time. So this is what you're going to see. Offense is going to attack the linebackers, which we are playing with 2 rookies and, of course, Kiko Alonso, who leads the league in tackles. But it could be for a reason. Why?
They can't stop anybody. And going forward, Lorenzo, I'm really concerned about the Miami Dolphins wide receiver. It was good to see Danny Amendola get involved. I think they should go to him a little more.
Right.
I don't get it why they're not doing that. But certainly the injury to Albert Wilson, how seriously hurt is he? It didn't look good. Kenny Stills, I saw his arm kind of hanging. What's going on with him? Will this be the week where this team has to rely on Devontae Parker, who I understand is somewhat on the trading block?
Right.
Is this going to be the week when he finally contributes and I guess endears himself, rather, to the Miami Dolphins fan base, because everybody's down on Devontae Parker. Like, I think, pretty much everyone's given up on this guy. But now we need him.
Yeah, well, they're looking for at least a third rounder for Devontae Parker, and it will be interesting going forward as the Miami Dolphins take on the Houston Texans on Thursday. It's going to be a nationally televised game, so the fellas are going to basically be up for the game. But after, this loss, bringing their record to 4-3, which I predicted at the beginning of the season the Dolphins would be 5-4 because they have not played well against good quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. They lost to Brady, they lost to Andy Dalton, and they lost to Matthew Stafford today. And, of course, Jeff Fox, we got to send a big shout going out to our sponsors.
Yes, Bamboo Shack celebrating 2 years in South Florida. Thank you for sponsoring the Sports Brothers. We appreciate you, and they're celebrating 2 years, Lorenzo. Congratulations out to those folks at Bamboo Shack.
For Jeff Fox, I'm Lorenzo Thomas. We're the Sports Brothers. Until next time.